Really, the most important thing is probably updating your biography regularly, as you say, and posting it everywhere. So, for example, your website,
Website. Yep.
your social media,
Yep.
any of the social media profile handles, absolutely.
Mhm.
And as you said, Indeed, especially if you're looking to hire other people or someone's looking to hire you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to In the House podcast. My name's Toni Singh.
Glad to be back. I'm Jenny Woon.
Our topic today is elevating your bio, even if you're new to the business. It's absolutely riveting, folks. You got to stay and listen to it. Really, it's going to help you.
Well, it is first impression is really important.
Very important. Very important. So what would you recommend? Is there anything that you want to say in terms of, okay, why is it important to elevate your bio? And then let's give them a first tip.
It's really important because it is an opportunity to serve to an audience if they don't get to know you right away, if you're not face to face with them. And so it creates this positive first impression, allows you to establish some connection with your clients, establish some connections with partnerships, potential partnerships. I personally am updating and reviewing my LinkedIn and my resume constantly. And I know I haven't really sent out a resume, but you never know when someone wants to receive it. I meet up with a lot of developers on a regular basis. And if they want to send a referral to somebody, I have it ready to go.
Yeah, she's so prepared, folks. And Jenny, you do this really well with your branding and your ability to, I guess, create trust through your biography. So what's an innovative approach to crafting a real estate bio rather than, hey, I mean, some of them are pretty boring.
Correct. It can be.
They're really boring.
There's many different ways to do it. And I would say there's certain techniques that you can use. Firstly is storytelling. So storytelling about your timeline and life cycle of your work and just even things that are accomplishments that have been in your life. And it doesn't need to be necessarily about work itself. It could be about community involvement. It could be about perhaps if you're an athlete and you have like a competition, like competitor side in you. I think those elements are really, really useful skills to have in our workplace.
For sure. And I think it also shows alignment with potential ideal clients, right? For people that you would get along with, want to work with. There's some commonality there.
Let's talk about where a bio is seen. So other than like sending out a resume and a cover letter, but besides LinkedIn, are there other platforms that you've seen bios?
I have. I mean, pretty much, I think the rule of thumb these days in a world where information's at everyone's fingertips and technology has really allowed people to search for themselves, right? So if you're going to hire someone for any type of job, what do? You probably look online in Google or something, right?
Yeah, Indeed.
Yeah. So I think really the most important thing is probably updating your biography regularly, as you say, and posting it everywhere. So for example, your website, your social media, any of the social media profile handles, absolutely. And as you said, Indeed, especially if you're looking to hire other people or someone's looking to hire you, they're going to come across your biography. I also think that the consistent branding and biography would be important in terms of stabilizing that message.
A couple of other platforms that I just thought of now. Because you and I do a lot of speaking engagements as well, is to have a short form and a long form bio available to the conference host.
I just updated mine.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I was like, oh, isn't it great that we have this template and I can adjust it accordingly.
Secondly, you want to tailor your bio for local relevance. And what I mean by that is highlighting any specific neighborhoods that you may be hyper-focused on so that way you're showcasing your expertise. You're showcasing how you are involved with the community.
Do you think, I have a question in regards to that. I agree. I think that it is important to specify local relevance, maybe even local relevance within community. Do you think that a newer agent would need to be careful of that though? Like basically, do you think it would pigeonhole them into being the expert for one specific area? How would they get around that?
So what they can say, because there's potential leads across the country. So not just in Vancouver or Fraser Valley, for example, but you can say Greater Vancouver. So if you don't mention Greater Vancouver, you may be servicing in other areas that may not show up on Google searches.
I think that's important
like that.
too. I love that.
So if you are new and you are really servicing kind of maybe many different neighborhoods, you don't have to say specifically, like in my area, Burnaby, Brentwood, you can say, maybe you could say just Greater Vancouver.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
So third thing to elevate your bio is leveraging your previous experience for impact.
Yeah, let's expand upon that. So rather than just say, it's about storytelling too, isn't it? I think this one. So rather than just listing your past roles, emphasize your value and unique insights gained from your specific experiences. This is a perfect way to demonstrate your professional background, and it shows how effective and efficient you've been in the past through that storytelling. Even possibly, we all evolve, right? So possibly showcasing this in a chronological account of your work history. So for example, Jenny, you just recently spoke at the Realtor Collective. And I believe you also had a chronological timeline of all of your many accomplishments. But I think the way that it was presented really resonated with people. And it showed that you are knowledgeable and you've actually been through these specific scenarios.
Yeah. So just to recap, I have a 21-year experience in real estate. And speaking on stage is somewhat new after this podcast, right?
How did it feel, by the way? Because it's in person in front of a whole bunch of people.
Okay. If I was to go back to talking about astrology, and this is so off topic, this last full moon that was like last week, actually, Pluto has aligned with my Aquarius train. And, I'm probably explaining this wrong because I'm not too big into it, but this is what was explained to me. This is last week was my first week of my 15-year cycle, which means I'm a whole different, like I'm a Jenny's 7.0
Love it.
version.
And which sign are you then? Is this a rising sign or?
I am a rising sign. Yeah.
In what?
So in Aquarius.
Oh my God, I am too.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay. So, and standing on stage, I felt really grounded, centered, and powerful. Like all of those all in one. And everything came from my heart. And then I spoke out and articulated all the accomplishments I achieved. But then on top of that, all the struggles and challenges I had in those moments. Even when there's a win, there's also things that happened and failures that happened to get me there. So anyways, we're leveraging previous experience. I know I'm 21 years in. Now, for someone who has just started in real estate, what I recommend is that maybe you've been in customer service. Maybe you were in a detail-oriented job. Like maybe you're like in a science lab and you had to monitor or chart things. And those type of skills are very useful in real estate.
Yes, they are. I've actually, this is also segueing a bit, but I remember there were a few over the years, previous engineers that ended up becoming real estate agents. And they did the exact same thing where they used their previous skill set in their jobs, right? Attention to detail, high analytical perhaps, in order to disseminate data in regards to real estate. So, listing prices, sales prices. So you can really pull from anything. It's definitely how you present the information and definitely make yourselves visible.
Well, your job prior to being in real estate, it was social housing? Social
This is going back a
services?
long time. I used to do, okay, so two things, nonprofit, worked with women and children's groups. And then I also used to work in a clinical psychology research lab doing research and stuff like that.
How would you say, like, one skill or element or
so
thing you took away to now apply to real estate?
Oh, for sure. And this is actually a really, will say strong skill set for myself. It's the ability to look at a whole bunch of data, but I don't get stuck in the data. It's like, give me the data. I can see really quickly what it is. I'm like, it's this. I think that probably helped me because we were looking at so much data, cleaning data.
That reminds me of me reading Jim Quick's book.
Like
you have to look at maybe like every other word. I forgot what the rule was.
Speed reading, right?
Speed reading. Yeah. And trying to remember what you just read.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone has their process, but it matters how you present this, right, to your prospective clients. Okay, let's give a fourth recommendation here. Building your own brand within your chosen real estate brokerage.
Oh yeah, that just makes so much sense because if you don't have your personal brand built up already or you don't have a reputation, guess what? You obviously joined a brokerage that has the reputation already, that is already on the charts. So you can build quite a compelling narrative using the brokerage's mission statement, the values, their vision. And so there's credibility already built and professional standing within the industry. If you don't have a personal brand yet and you want to enhance your personal brand or you want to get started, leveraging the brokerage's brand is a good way to start.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll say this because I know that you guys think that I'm an Oakland agent. I'm not. I'm at Bel Air Realty.
You might as well just join us.
But I was going to say, I will say this. There's truth in that because whenever I come across a newer Oakland agent, they've been phenomenal to deal with. And so I do think that probably speaks to, I know that there's a variety of different arms of Oakland now, but the brokerage, the values, right? And they're able to emulate those same things. So yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Fifth thing is infusing personality into your bio.
How does someone do that? Because when I read a bio and if it's super boring, I mean, you know, how we used to do them 10 years ago. What elements would you suggest would make it interesting? Like hobbies, other interests, something outside of real estate?
Your tone. Maybe if you speak like a certain, like way.
Informal, like, hey, y'all.
Or if you're quirky, or if you, there's an agent that I know that has a specific, she changes eyeglasses all the time or changes shoes. And so maybe she has—
That's clever.
Yeah, so she has like a certain font or colors that kind of match her personality, like red, for example. So that,
I like that.
You can see the way she has her resumes or the way her branding follows her bio. It's like always red.
Okay, so this reminds me exactly of what you're talking about. There's an agent. I'm going to give her a shout out. I think sometimes she listens to our podcast as well. She's on the island, Chelsea Martin. And it was so interesting. She's done exactly this because I remember meeting her one day in Qualicum when she was doing floor time. I was looking at, whenever I travel anywhere, I love looking at real estate. So I'm looking, she probably thought I was going to buy something. I'm like, oh, what is this going for? And she came out and we were chatting and she had a distinctive feature, which was an incredible hat. But it was only one encounter for maybe 5 minutes. And then I had a client who I was referring to Qualicum Beach.
Okay.
And I'm like, what was her name again? I lost the card. So I went online and I was able to find her because she had that incredible hat in all of her branding.
Right. Did you Google like realtor with a hat?
No, I Googled Qualicum Beach real estate agents near wherever area I was. And then I actually went through and scrolled through, I think it was Royal LePage, Sussex, the pictures. And I'm like, it's her. And then I messaged her directly and then I referred the clients to her. So it can work. Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So show up when you're showing up to work, make you like your bio and yourself match. So authenticity.
Yeah, and personal style too.
Yeah, that's
like,
really
I like
important.
the red glasses you said.
Yeah, it's really important. Really important. 6 is emphasizing altruistic contributions.
Mm-hmm.
And congratulations, Sharon.
Oh, yes. Congrats.
Winning board of directors.
You are one of the people I voted for.
Yeah.
Because we get to vote for more than one.
Yeah. And she actually talked about being altruistic, having that leadership skill, being selfless, and being involved in her community and having the acts of kindness in many different ways, not just to her agents, but just even to a community of females.
Yeah, for sure. I think that her message was definitely one of integrity. It was from the heart, and she was very socially and consciously aligned with that element, as long as showing and as well as showing her professionalism. So congrats. That definitely works. Even for some of the previous guests that we've had on the podcast, I'm thinking of Leah Bach right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're really involved in community and emphasizing, their altruistic contributions to their community.
And Connie Buna.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well. Yeah. So it works.
Yeah. Incorporating testimonials effectively. Obviously, this it comes from somebody who's worked with you, or maybe somebody who has been in your life your whole life, right? To build the trust. And I would say the positive experiences that people encounter with you, they would love to share that with other people.
For sure. So I have a story about this too. We did some video testimonials from some of our past clients at a recent client appreciation event. And funnily enough, when I was door knocking this area, this fellow who owned a very nice home was like, yeah, sure, you can show this home. We would sell it. I'm like, okay, great. We have somebody that would like to look at it, which was true. It was not a lie. And then I guess I gave him my name and everything. So he looked me up online and he saw that client's video testimonial, but they know each other.
Okay.
So it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect because he could actually ask and say, is she actually legit? Should I hire this person? So incorporating testimonials effectively, really important.
Does it need to be like long testimonial?
No, I don't think so. I think it just needs to be authentic and from the heart. People can tell that right away, I think. Yeah. Another one, okay, crafting your bio in the third person.
Okay, yeah. So this is a technique.
Yes.
And when you're doing it by third person, think of it from a point of view of like what your mom would say about you, or what your dog would say about you, right?
Do you want to put what your mom would say about you? I guess it depends if she's like your biggest fan.
Yeah, she's proud of you.
Yeah.
But that translates to perhaps just another narrative rather than saying I. And just having this external viewpoint really can maybe sound.
I was going to say, I think it kind of creates an authority, not like it's trying to be authoritative, right? But an authority voice. Do you know what I'm trying to get at?
No.
Credibility.
Oh, credibility.
Adding credibility in that way, right? Because it's not from you. It's almost from that third party where it feels a bit more legitimate. You don't always have to do that, but I have noticed, you're right, for the third part, the crafting your bio in third person, for some of those ones where they're trying to show professionalism, it's different when it looks like someone else is saying it.
Do you read a lot of autobiographies?
I like autobiographies, yes, but I haven't, as of late, I haven't had time.
So when you've read them in the past, are they third person or first person?
This is a great question. I think actually they're in first person. The autobiography
is written
which
by
is
them,
different.
Well, I guess some of them use ghostwriters, but it's still in first person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it has to be from their perspective.
Question.
It's not actually. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't even really think about it.
So then a biography is somebody else writing it.
I mean, you know what would be really cool? Let's just live outside the lines here. I like, personally, when I see a biography, and sure, it's in third person, because it's like, okay, well, what are these person's accomplishments, achievements? What are they about? I also don't mind if there's a paragraph where they have a direct message in their biography to their aligned client.
Okay.
Because it also shows the personality. You have to do it intelligently, obviously, but I see no reason why you can't combine both. Just have them in separate paragraphs so it doesn't look.
But wouldn't that be against like English lit, like
no
incorrect grammar?
No, No, this is what I'm saying. So for example, if it was your biography, Jenny, I could say so many great things about you. But let's say I was like, oh, Jenny Woon is a top industry professional, head of the West One real estate team, owns her own brokerage, blah, 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 blah. Then at the end, you could say something like a direct quote from you, where it's in the biography, right? Like, oh, I don't know, what would you say? You probably want to say something about aligning your business with spirituality or something.
With people.
Yeah. And then it would be a quote and you would just sign your name. I mean, it's perfect.
Okay.
Anyways, you don't have to do that. But if you wanted to incorporate both, that's one way of doing it.
Ninth way to elevate your bio is utilizing favorite adjectives for impact. And what we mean by that are words that gravitate and are familiar and relevant with people that are reading the bio. So you could use words like community focused, persistent, you're detail oriented, you're dependable, you're dedicated. And so using these powerful scriptors creates it makes an impact and hits your reader.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're talking about this and you're talking about adjectives, I'm reminded of last year when you said to me, Toni, fun is not an adjective I'd use to describe you. So that won't be in my bio. I can be fun. Okay, number 10, crafting a dynamic story for new agents.
Did you agree or disagree?
Oh yeah, you're not wrong. Like, listen, I actually have an incredibly fun side. However, when I'm in business mode, you're right. I'm probably not that fun. I'm like straight to the point. Let's get it done. That's it. Why are we? It's not. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Crafting a dynamic story for new agents with limited experience. This is really important for those of you listeners that are new to real estate.
Yeah. So I want to maybe emphasize the fact that perhaps you can talk about the journey leading up to real estate and talking about all the commitments you've done to study, to get into this business. Maybe you have like a mortgage broker experience. Maybe you have underwriting experience for mortgages. Perhaps you have been a licensed agent. And that doesn't mean that you're any less or any better than the agents that are currently out there. I feel like you've built assets throughout your life, throughout your journey, no matter personal or professional, that you can appeal to a specific audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so having a fresh perspective, being very enthusiastic, and your dedication to the work alone, you can show that all in your bio, even without selling actual properties yet.
For sure. So get on it, guys. I mean, honestly, we want you to succeed. Remember what it was like being a new agent?
Yeah, we were.
It was a long time ago, but that was hard.
We're all there.
No.
And every year I'm evolving, and I feel like I can learn more and more.
Me
more
too.
things.
But just from that phase of, wow, knowing nothing about real estate to doing your first deal, I get that back.
There's only a first one time, right? So you always remember your first.
So to summarize, let's summarize this topic for today. Go ahead.
It's just creating a memorable first impression, establishing really strong connections with potential clients, and really feeling like you are just showing up authentically without having to be somebody else. Let's kind of talk about AI. Like would you say AI would be really important to kind of develop maybe the framework of your bio?
You can for people that, okay, put it this way. If you're using AI and you have the right prompts, it's not as though you're not really speaking from the heart, right? Because it's gonna output whatever your inputs are. I think for someone that's not really great formulating written works in terms of sentences, it can help. But you perhaps would have to say, okay, ask it a question maybe. What would you recommend for that? Like, let's say you're using ChatGPT and you asked it a question and said something like, oh, hey, ChatGPT, I'm looking to create a new aligned biography for myself. Here are my core values. This is my experience. Can we start? Can you give me one paragraph? I don't know, on what that would look like. And then I think it is important to adjust it just because I like speaking from the heart. And obviously AI can help you curate that message, but you definitely need to be having a look at it after and then editing it.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a lot of images and photos posted that are AI driven.
How can you tell?
Just how it's been polished and filtered and touched up, I'd say. And when I'm seeing it, I'm kind of wondering what's going through that agent's mind.
Interesting.
Of whether they don't like how they look.
See, I still write my own stuff. I'm not really like for bio at least.
But for the photos. Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of agents using photos, and that's their series of posts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. It's happening.
It's happening. But we've talked about new agents, and for older, more experienced veteran agents, it is important, as Jenny mentioned at the beginning of this episode, to revisit your biography at least once a year. I'll admit myself, I need to be doing that more often. I do it, but I should probably add to it. And through these considerations, when thoughtfully implemented, you can definitely transform your real estate bio into a compelling narrative that resonates with your target audience, aligned clients, and can make a memorable first impression through establishing a strong connection with potential clients. So we hope that these tips for you are super helpful today. Do reach out if you have any questions, and maybe send us your updated bios. We'd love to read them.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna help you guys. If you send me your bio, send it to jennywoonrealtor@gmail.com.
She's hiring, folks.
I am willing to review your bio and provide you with some feedback.
Do it. Get on it now.
Thanks for tuning in.
Have a great week.
We'll see you next week.